about what we're going to do. So you're all muted, but as always, you can turn on the sound if you have any questions. So today, to finish our 6 weeks to Samhain class, because Halloween is upon us already, we're going to do a flow to slow class. So originally I thought of doing a complete yin yoga class, but I thought it was a bit too mellow for first thing in the morning. We'd just be asleep. Okay, so I thought to strike a balance, we're going to start the class, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a few flows. So we're going to do like some activations. We're going to do 2 activations that are really warming up the body, moving through them. It doesn't mean we have to do them fast. We can do them just to move the body, okay? To move the energy. And then we'll get into a few restorative yoga practices. Restorative or yin yoga means that we use supports to get into the posture, and we stay there for longer. So we'll be staying in each posture for about 3 minutes. And the idea is that there's an opening in the body, there's a relaxation. You experience the asana very differently when you're in it for a longer time, and with support as well, okay? And then after that, we're going to do a guided meditation. So the meditation, or a guided relaxation rather. So the relaxation part this morning will feel a little longer, but it will be guided. So you don't have to do anything, you just have to lie back and we'll see it all. Okay, so we're going to start this morning with our flow part of the practice. So we'll be doing a number of activations, of flows that will be linked together to get the body moving, to get the energy moving in the body and all of that, okay? So we'll do that part, and then we'll quiet down to the slower part. All of these things that we're going to do this morning are things that you've done before in the flow part. And we're going to start this morning with one of my favorite activations, which is Sarduli Kriya, which is where we are on all fours, and it's like a cat-cow, okay? So we start, and we don't have to do these very fast. It's just about waking up the body, bringing in movement, okay? So Sarduli Kriya is we're in a position of all fours, and we're inhaling, dipping the belly down to the mat, exhaling, raising the spine up to the ceiling. And just like that, we'll start slow, we'll move up the pace, we'll gradually increase the pace, and we'll do a number of them at quite a fast pace. When we do the ones at a fast pace, I want you to exhale through the mouth, because the idea is that we're waking up prana, latent energy we have in the body, okay? And then after we reach the fast ones, we'll come back down to the slow ones again, okay? So let's set ourselves up, middle of the mat, all fours, hands spread nice and wide, hands, wrists, elbows and shoulders in line, knees underneath the hips, okay? Tops of the feet are flat on the floor. Okay, we're going to start with an inhale, and we're going to dip the belly towards the mat. With an exhale, we're arching our spine towards the ceiling, gradually wakening up the body. Inhaling, dipping the belly down. Exhaling, arching the spine. That's it. Inhaling. Exhaling. You might even hear a few cracks in your back as you do this. Inhaling. I just heard a couple. Exhaling. Inhaling, waking up the body. Exhale. In and exhale. Bringing a bit more rhythm to it, so gradually upping the pace. Still in tune with the breath. In and exhale. That's it. In and exhale. In and exhale. In and exhale. Upping the pace again. In and exhale. In and exhale. That's it. In and exhale. Another one. In and exhale. Upping the pace again. We're going to do a few fast ones, and we're going to exhale through the mouth. So in, exhale. 2 more. That's it. Slowing it down again. Gradually. This. And another notch. That's it. Slowing it down now. Slowing it right down and doing 3 really slow ones. In and out. In and out. One last one, really slow. In and out. Sitting back on our heels, letting our hands rest on our thighs, pausing here for a moment. So closing our eyes. And taking 2 breaths here. In through the nose. And out through the nose. In and out. Blinking our eyes open. From here, we're going to move into the second part of this activation, which incorporates the legs, okay? So I'll show you first of all. So this one, we're going to incorporate the legs. So as we inhale, we stretch one leg back. You can lift it up slightly. And as we exhale, we bring it underneath the body. So we go in and out. And in and out. Okay, and we'll do this the same number of times. So we're roughly doing all of these about 27 times each side, okay? And as before, we'll start slow, we'll build up, and then we'll do a few at quite a quick pace, exhaling through the mouth, and we'll bring it down again. Okay, so from your all fours position, and we'll all start with the right leg. Okay, so we're looking down at the mat between our hands, taking an inhale, and on an exhale, lifting the leg up and back. That's it. Exhaling, bringing the knee underneath. Exhaling, lifting it up. That's it. In, leg underneath. Exhale, back. In, leg underneath. Exhale, back. That's it. In and X. In and X. In, that looks great, everybody. And X, yeah. In and X. In and X. Gradually quickening the pace a little bit. That's it. And moving up, we're going to do a few quite fast ones. So in, X through the mouth. In. Slowing it down again. Not to a complete stop yet, that's it. In and out, in and out. And then 3 slow ones. In and out. I know your legs are talking to you at this stage. And out. Last one, in and out. And we'll just sit back. Let the legs be nice and wide. You can sit back down on the mat. You can sit on your knees, or you can bring your head towards the mat. Or if, like me, you can't pull forward, you can stack your fists and let your forehead rest on your fists. Just take 2 breaths here before we move on to the other side. Breathing in and breathing out. In and releasing. We'll gradually peel ourselves back to an all fours position. And we're doing the same thing on the other side. So we'll take a breath in, inhaling, we'll stretch the left leg back this time. Exhaling, left leg underneath. In and out, leg underneath. In, stretching the left leg back and up, that's it. And out underneath. In and out, that's it. That looks great, keep going. Nice steady pace to begin with. gradually quickening the pace, so bringing a bit more rhythm into it. That's it. And then we're going to do a few at our fastest rhythm possible. So in and out through the mouth. In. Slowing it down. And last one. Gradually slowing the rhythm down. And we'll do 3 more really slow, okay? In and out. In and out, that's it. In and out. Coming to rest, sitting back on our heels, opening our legs nice and wide if we wish to, and bringing our forehead to rest on those fists. Taking 2 breaths here. Gradually peeling ourselves back up. From here, we're going to continue waking up the spine, okay? And we're going to do so with our Adho Mukha Karanas, or our flow based on downward facing dog. So this is like when we go into downward facing dog and we make this wave motion with the body. I'll show you before we begin to jolt your memory, okay? So from downward facing dog, what we're going to do, we're going to do 2 things. First of all, in downward facing dog, we're going to pedal out the legs. So we inhale, bend one knee, stretch the other. Exhale, reverse. Stretching one heel down to the mat, bending the other knee, okay? So after taking our dog for a walk, we're then going to bring our spine and we're going to make waves with our spine. So to do this, we come forward up onto our toes, bend the knees, and then bring our bums back towards our heels, lifting the hips up again. So inhaling and exhaling. That's it. In and ex. Okay, so like a wave. And we'll do this a few times, bringing movement into the back of the body. Okay, so from all fours, we'll set up to come up into our downward facing dog. We'll tuck our toes, hands are spread nice and wide. And we're going to press into the toes to lift the knees and lift the hips, pressing our head back between our elbows. And then we'll get ready to pedal out the legs. So we'll bend into the right leg, letting the left heel come down, and then reverse. Bending into the left, letting the right heel come down. Inhaling, bending one knee. Exhaling, bending the other. Feeling a lovely stretch from the top of the legs all the way down to the heels. Stretching the whole back of the legs, wakening up the body. This. Breathing, moving with the breath. And then one more on each side. Inhaling and exhaling and coming back into stillness. Then we'll get ready to flow. So we're inhaling, moving forward, exhaling, bending the knees, lifting the hips back up. Inhaling, coming forward. Exhaling, bending the knees, and then lifting the hips. Thinking of the movement as coming from the base of the spine. Inhaling, and imagining your spine rippling just like a wave. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. That's it. Inhaling forward, Exhaling back. We'll do 3 more. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. 2, inhaling forward, exhaling back, and 1. Last one. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Taking a moment in down dog. And then bringing our knees back down onto the floor. Letting our hands rest on our thighs. Closing our eyes here for a moment. Closing our eyes. The mouth can always be slightly open if breath needs to leave the body. And with our eyes closed, we're bringing our attention into our heart center. Very center of our chest. We're bringing a soft smile to our lips. And we're moving the tip of our tongue behind our front teeth. Sending all this lovely energy that we've awakened in the spine upwards to the very crown of our head. Very gradually, we blink our eyes open. And from here, we're going to move into our sun salutations. Okay, so we're going to do 6 rounds this morning, like we always did last year. So we're going to start the first one slow, then we'll really focus on the breath. Then we'll do 3 rounds where we're moving at our own pace, really connecting with the body. And then in the last round, there's a slowing down. And I really want you to feel into this last round as a slowing down this morning, okay? Because it's going to bring us into the next part of our practice, which will be a much slower pace, okay? So the idea here is that we're bringing up the energy and then slowing down, okay? So let's start from the top of our mat, feet hip distance apart. We'll tuck the tailbone. We lift the shoulders up, back and down. Point the fingertips towards the floor. Bringing the hands into Namaskar Mudra. Maybe even closing the eyes, taking the breath here. And we'll get ready to begin. So we're reaching our hands up to the ceiling, looking upwards. And then folding forwards, bending all the way down to the floor. Bringing our hands to our shins or our thighs, we're looking forward with a flat back. We're folding forward again, fingertips are on the floor, slight bend in the knees, stepping the left knee back, hands into center, reaching our hands up to the ceiling. Bringing our hands back down, framing that front foot, stepping into a strong high plank, and bending into the elbows, lowering ourselves all the way down onto the floor, then lifting the head and chest in Bhujangasana. Coming up over the knees, tucking the toes, lifting the knees and lifting the hips up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And then looking forward, we step our right leg forward, left knee back on the mat. Hands into center, lifting the hands up. That's it. Hands back through center, hands on the mat, stepping forward and folding forward. Looking forward, flattening the back, folding forward again. Gradually peeling ourselves back up, stretching up to the ceiling, enjoying that lovely morning stretch. Hands together, folding forward all the way down to the mat. Looking forward, flattening the back, folding forward again. Fingertips on the mat, bend the knees slightly, right leg back, right knee on the mat, hands to center, lifting the hands up to the ceiling. Hands back to center, framing the front foot, stepping back into our strong high plank, and bending into our elbows, lowering ourselves all the way down onto the mat, lifting the head and chest, looking up towards the ceiling, coming up over the knees, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Looking forward, stepping the left leg forward, right knee back on the mat. Inhaling, reaching ourselves up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, hands coming back down, stepping forward and folding forward. Looking forward, hands on shins or knees, folding forward again. Inhaling, incorporating the breath. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, looking forward with a flat back. Exhaling to fold. Left leg back, left knee on the mat. Inhaling, stretching up. Exhaling, coming back down. From our strong high plank, exhaling all the way down to the ground. Inhaling the Bhujangasana, lifting the gaze to the ceiling. Exhaling, tucking the toes, lifting the knees up into Adapations. Looking forward, inhaling, right leg forward, hands reaching up. Exhaling, hands coming down, folding forward. Looking forward, flattening the back, folding forward again. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, looking forward, flattening the back. Exhaling to fold. Fingertips on the mat, right leg back. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, hands coming down. Exhaling through plank, chaturanga. Inhaling, a Bhujangasana. Exhaling, adapations. That's it. Starting to feel the body really warming up now. Inhaling, hands to ceiling. Exhaling, hands coming down. Stepping forward and folding forward. Looking forward, flattening the back as we inhale. Folding forward as we exhale. Inhale, reaching up. Moving into a dynamic flow now. The body's feeling warm. We're feeling into the movements. Feeling fluid in our movements. Warm in the body. That's it. Lifting the hips in adapations. Looking forward, stepping right leg forward. Left knee back on the mat, hands reaching up. That's it, hands coming back down. Stepping forward, folding forward. Looking forward, flattening the back, always using these little bits to reclaim our breath if we're getting out of breath like me. Folding forward, inhaling, looking forward. Exhaling to fold, fingertips on the mat. Right leg back this time. Reaching up to the ceiling. Hands coming down. Step into plank. Chaturanga. Strong arms. Bhujangasana, enjoying that lovely back bend. Exhaling on adapations, that's it. Looking forward. Left leg forward. Right knee back on the mat. Reaching the hands up. Bringing the hands back down. Stepping forward, folding forward. Looking forward, flattening back. Folding forward again. Keep flowing. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding. That's it. Finding your own rhythm. That looks great, everybody. Moving through plank and chaturanga. Stepping right foot forward, left leg back on the mat, reaching the hands up. Exhaling, stepping forward and folding forward. That's it. Stepping the right leg back, next round, that's it. One more dynamic round. So one more round at this pace. I'm going to keep watching you, looking for everyone moving at their own pace. It looks great. And we're coming to the end of these dynamic rounds. That's it. Reaching the hands up. And for the last 2 rounds, so we'll notably slow everything down again. Okay, so reaching up to the ceiling, folding forward to the mat. Trying to really consciously slow the body down in these last 2 rounds. So as we step our left leg back this last time, reaching up, really slowing it down. It doesn't matter if it doesn't match the breath in these last 2 rounds. I want you to really slow things down. So pushing up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, looking forward, right leg, left leg back on the mat. Inhaling, stretching up. Exhaling, hands coming down, folding, looking forward, folding forward. And last round, really, really slowing it down on this last side, okay? And if you've finished, you can just stand in Tadasana and we'll meet there. We're all on the last side, whatever side you're on now is the last side, so really try and slow it down. We're reaching up to the ceiling and we're bringing our hands back into center. We'll all gradually meet in Tadasana when we've finished with our hands in Namaskar Mudra in a prayer position in the center of the chest. We'll let the mouth be slightly open and we'll invite the eyes to close. Letting the breath flow freely through the mouth, inviting the breath to slow down, and inviting our quickened heart rate underneath their thumbs to slow down. Very gradually, we'll drop our hands by our sides, pointing our fingertips towards the floor, keeping our eyes closed for another moment. Bringing our attention to our heart center again. Finding this soft smile of Mahamudra on our lips. And moving the tip of our tongue behind our front teeth, channeling all this energy upwards towards our highest self. We softly blink our eyes open. And from here, we're going to move straight into the restorative part of our practice. The first asana that we're going to do in this restorative practice is Bakthasana. So all you need for Bakthasana is a blanket. Okay, so if you have your blanket folded, you may need it, you may not need it. It's just for an extra bit of comfort. Okay, you may need it in 2 places. So Maria, you may need a blanket under your knees. And if it gets too intense for you, Maria, just come out of it. But you can put a blanket under your knees. So Bakthasana is an asana. So I'll take a moment just to show you how we're going to set it up. Bakthasana is an asana where we stretch our hands forward, bring our elbows down onto the mat, and we let our head rest on the mat. Okay? But because we're going to spend a couple of minutes in this pose, we want to make it as supported as possible. So if you find that your knees in contact with the mat is too intense, we put the blanket under our knees. So to soften the space between our knees and the mat. Another place you can put the blanket, if you don't need it under your knees or you need a second blanket, we can move the blanket forward and we can simply place our forehead onto the blanket. So just to make it as comfortable as possible. Okay, so you figure out where you need your blanket. Mine is definitely going on my forehead. But as I said, if you need the support under your knees, put it under your knees. So we're going to move into Bakthasana, and once we're in the asana, I'll give you instructions to move into the breath and everything else like that. okay? It feels a bit different to be in an asana for a longer amount of time. Stay with it, visit the sensations. If there's sensations of real discomfort, then come out. But know that sometimes we have little sensations, and that's just the body telling us something, okay? But you know yourself, listen to your own body. So our knees are directly beneath our hips, and we're going to start by walking our hands forward. So we're walking our hands forward, bringing our elbows down onto the mat, and bringing our forehead to rest on top of the blanket or on the mat. Making any adjustments here as we move into the pose. I'm just going to have a look at everybody. Okay, that looks great. And the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to connect with the breath. Okay, so we're beginning to breathe in Maya Prana. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Breathing in and breathing out. Over the course of the next few breaths, I want you to focus your breath, direct your breath to the space in between your shoulder blades, the back of your heart. And as you breathe in, I want you to feel an expansion in this area. Breathing in between the shoulder blades expands. Exhaling, feeling the breath leaving the body and noticing more space. Continuing with the breath. Allowing the eyes to close, allowing the focus to be totally on the breath and on the body, opening the back of the heart through the space in between the shoulder blades. And for the last minute that we'll spend in this asana, if you feel that you have the space, you can move from your forehead to gently place your chin on the blanket so that the face is facing forward. And if that feels comfortable, we'll stay here. Keeping the breath flowing. Taking one more full deep breath. Very gradually, we're going to move out of the pose. We'll place our forehead on the mat if we were on our chins. We'll walk our hands back underneath our shoulders. And using our hands, we're going to press into the hands. Bring our hips back onto our heels. And we'll rest our hands on our thighs. Coming back to Virasana. Closing our eyes, taking 2 breaths here. Inhaling. And exhaling. Letting everything settle in. And out. Very gradually, big eyes open. And from here, we're going to move into Matsyendrasana, so fish pose. So in the pose that we last did, we opened the back of the heart. So when we breathe it into the part between the shoulder blades, we're opening the back of the heart. Now we're going to open the front of the heart. So we're looking for chest expansion in this next asana, okay? There's a few ways that we can get into this asana, and there's a few ways that we can support it. So we're going to maybe take a few moments, first of all, to play around with the different levels of support that we can find to make sure that we're fully comfortable so that we can really surrender and really melt into this pose as much as possible. So I'm going to show you a few different options and we'll play around. Feel free, if you need to ask me questions or turn on the speaker or turn on the mic or whatever, to ask me questions as we move into this one, okay? So in Matsyendrasana, we're lying back on our backs, okay? So I'm going to show you the option of blocks first of all. So I have my blocks. Tom, I look really awkward doing all of this stage. I have my blocks in a T shape. So I've put one block on top. That's where my head is going to rest. And I've put my other block quite close to it. And that's going to be in between my shoulder blades, okay? So one option is this. So I'm going to find my block. Okay, so my block is on my head, and the other block, I'm going to move myself up a bit. Okay, so I have a block beneath my head, supporting my head, and the other block is just in between my shoulder blades. Okay, and that for me, it doesn't feel like enough support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a blanket, or you can get a cushion, and we can lift up, and we can place it rolled beneath the spine, okay? So you can place it long way, so it's going the whole way down your spine, or you can place it, lengthways either, you could place it horizontal either, depending. I think it's more comfortable like this, okay? Likewise, if you have a cushion, you could try a cushion underneath as well. A blanket for me is probably enough. And what we're going to do with the legs, we're going to play around with the legs because everybody will find a different level of comfort here. We can start with the legs flat on the floor. Another option, you can bring your feet together, letting your knees hang out. And we're moving through these very slowly because although this looks like a very passive pose, it's actually quite strong, okay? So we can bring the feet together, letting the knees hang open. Or if it feels comfortable for you, we can straighten the legs. Straighten the legs. That's not comfortable at all for me today, so I'm not going to do that, okay? So we're gradually going to set ourselves up. I'm going to help you all set yourselves up. So we're going to start by lying back on our backs. Set up your blocks. If you feel that a block underneath your head is going to be too hard, you can always place a cushion. I like the firmness of the block. You know, my head isn't going anywhere if it's on a block. Okay, so first of all, set up your blocks in a T shape. And take out a ponytail if you have your hair in a ponytail, because it'll make it more awkward. So the blocks are like that at the top. So I'm putting this block beneath my head and this block about here. Okay, so we're gradually lying back. Keep your feet flat on the floor and keep your knees bent for the moment. Your feet should be about hip distance apart. And this is the moment where we're adjusting the blocks. So if you feel that that block is too high up, too near the nape of your neck, move it down a little bit. Okay. And then find how you need your hips to be supported. So find how you need your spine to be supported. I think your dogs want to be your support, Leticia. So either getting a cushion or getting that blanket and rolling it up. So I really rolled mine up as if it was a bolster, and I put it the full length of my spine. So I put it underneath my spine like that. That felt really nice. Likewise, if you feel you need your hips lifted, you can put it underneath your hips. So we've more or less set ourselves up into the pose. And we're going to figure out what feels nice to do with our legs. You can try bringing your legs together, bringing the soles of your feet together and letting your knees hang open. Letting simply the weight of gravity bring your knees towards the floor. There should be no feeling of effort in this asana. It's a feeling of opening. Our hands can be outstretched, they can be by our sides. If we turn our palms towards the ceiling, we're increasing the sensation of openness in the body. We're inviting the body to open. You can adjust the legs if you want to. You can try straightening your legs if it feels like something you want to do, but you can always try straightening the legs, seeing how that feels, and bringing them back in. We're trying to find the optimum position to let the body surrender in this asana. And we'll tune into the breath. So we're inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we breathe in, we're filling the abdomen, the rib cage, and the chest. Exhaling, feeling everything deflate again. Closing our eyes, really tuning into the breath. In and exhale. Breathing in and out. Going to take 2 more full deep breaths here. Really filling the body and emptying it. And then very, very gradually, in whatever way feels comfortable for you, we're going to remove the supports and we're going to allow ourselves to rest in Savasana. So whatever way it feels comfortable to remove the blankets, remove the blocks, and rest in Savasana. Or if you wish, you can always stay with the supports for the relaxation, whichever feels best. If you feel you need a blanket at this point, grab a blanket. And in Savasana, we're allowing the body to rest fully back on the mat. Our head can be supported, our body can be supported in whatever way that we feel is necessary. We're allowing the legs to be open, the full width of the mat, maybe even wider. We're turning the palms to face the ceiling. And as we lie back on the mat, we feel an increasing heaviness within the body. This heaviness begins with our feet, travels through the back of our legs, the back of our thighs, the lower back, moves the whole way up the back, into the shoulders, the arms, and the head. This feeling of heaviness is our body turning into a type of stone, a type of grey, blue stone. This grey, blue stone that the body has become is a combustible material. It's the material we find on the outside of fireworks. Beginning with our toes, we begin to feel that on each of our toes, a tiny Catherine wheel or Bengala is starting to ignite. We have these little fireworks spinning on each of our toes, burning away everything there is. The firework moves upwards, consuming our feet and our lower legs. Feeling this feeling of heaviness in the stone of our body is converted to nothing as the firework slowly burns away. We have 2 fireworks burning, twirling up our legs, igniting from the knees, moving up the thighs towards the hips, leaving nothing but ash. These 2 fireworks will blend into one as they move up the main trunk of the body, moving from the pelvis, over the abdomen, the back, the torso. And when they reach the shoulders, splitting again into two, imagining these two wheels burning, one going down each arm, burning away the physical body, leaving nothing but ash. Reaching the hands and burning 10 tiny fireworks, one over each finger. Two fireworks that went down our arms convert to one at the base of the neck, and gradually burning away, they finally consume the head. And as this body of stone has fully turned to ash, to dust, our attention turns inwards. We can feel into the center of the heart, perhaps with greater ease, with a greater sense of lightness. And we're looking for our inner guide, our inner master. And our inner sense of peace. No longer burdened by our physical body. We feel the sense of peace, the sense of lightness with greater ease. And feeling into the sensation, knowing that for the next few moments, we don't have to do anything. very, very slowly, we're bringing our attention back into the physical body. Asking ourselves the question before we fully bring it back. If my body didn't exist, would I still be here? And very slowly we'll invite movement back into the body, starting with the fingers and the toes. Bringing sensation and awareness back in. And any movement, allowing any movement to happen that feels desirable in the body. We may feel like moving very little, we may feel like moving a lot. Allowing whatever our body needs to happen. And very slowly we'll push ourselves up to a seated position on a cushion, on a blanket. And in our seated position, with our hands resting on our thighs, we'll close our eyes and we're going to end the class today by simply chanting Om 3 times. Inhaling, exhaling through the mouth and chanting Om. When you're ready, we'll start by inhaling, exhaling. Om. Breathing in, exhaling. Another breath in. Letting the last sound reverberate through the body. Bringing our hands into our heart center. Blinking our eyes open. Om Shanti. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I really hope you enjoyed this slightly different class. And yeah, I'll leave this class and as many as I can available in the cloud. They'll be available for the next 2 months until my Zoom subscription expires. So I'm going to reorganize them. I'll put the names on them of each class in the title so you know what one you're going into. I think that shows up for you. It should. So they'll be there for the next 2 months, so you can dip back into them. There should be 3, maybe even 4 classes I'll get to leave. So you can dip back in and enjoy. And there's a little extra, tiny little extra bit of content that I'm going to send you on later today. It might be tomorrow. We'll see. I'll hopefully get it done today. Okay, so I'll just turn off the recording now. And any questions or comments are more than